Why are you all looking so damn scared? Act like you're going to a funeral. I'm the one fighting.
But fear is a choice.
So let me in fucking house!
I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Yo, what is good, No Fear fans? Back at y'all with another review. I am just getting back from the movie theater from watching Final Destination Bloodlines. Okay, let's get into it. So this film follows a college student. She's a reoccurring, of these violent nightmares and stuff like that, of a tower collapse in the 1960s. She's pretty much, returning home to find, the one person who can help, her break this cycle and these dreams she's pretty much having. These crazy dreams she's having, this making her have these nightmares. She can't sleep, waking up her roommate. Nobody around her is just having a good time. She's having nightmares in the middle of class. And pretty much this film explores, how trauma just transfer between generations. It's illustrating, I would say, intergenerational effects of trauma within the family. Additionally, it kind of shifts focus, to first responders with, R.I.P. Tony Todd, re-aspiring, his role as Bloodworth. Adding deeper secrets, to the narrative of this film. And this character, this lady, played, what's her name again? The main. Stephanie Reyes, sorry. She is pretty much, like I said, going back home to find, what's going on, why is she having these dreams, and come to find out it's her grandmother, Iris Campbell. She is the grandmother of her, and when she goes back home, she tries to ask her family and stuff like that, what's going on, why am I having these dreams, and she's asking her family, who's Iris? Who's Iris? Who's Iris? They're pretty much letting her know, like, yo, stay away from this woman. She's the grandmother of this family. We don't mess with her. She's crazy. They're pretty much trying to keep her from going, to visit her, because she's going to probably make her feel like she's crazy and stuff like that, and make her feel like, yo, this is something way deeper than what you expect, and I gotta say, this film was pretty damn good. I was surprised by it. I didn't go into this film having any too much high expectations, but the plot, I ain't gonna lie, everything was pretty much damn good about this film. Not really too many complaints, but I gotta say, the Iris Campbell, the grandmother, when you first see her on camera, she is 10 toes down on her shit. Like, she is on edge with everything. She has this curse down to the core. Like, everything that is happening around her, she is on notice. You're wondering, like, what is she looking at? Why is she looking around so much? Why is she telling me to stop? Telling me to take this off, take that off. And she's really letting you know, like, how powerful this curse is on, and it's pretty much, it's taking a real big toll on her. It makes everyone else around her think that she's crazy when she's not. She's trying to save other people's lives just as much as her own, and she does a really good job, with delivering that. And you felt her rage and her, this is not the life she wanted. And you felt her everything that she's been through with this character, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching her. And this is the non-spoiler review, so if you want to see the spoiler, just stick around to the end, towards the middle end of this video. So that's pretty much sums up the plot, the description plot of this film. Like I said, there is a moment in this film, like Tony Todd, he has a part in this film, that's very touching. Obviously, for those that do know, the passing of Tony Todd, him being a horror legend, a movie legend, him, passing right after this film was made. So, RIP to him, the original Candyman, etc., etc. So yeah, that's my review for this film. Also, I think this film touches base a lot on like it's like a coin curse in this film as well. I think that coin, like that, it was a curse on that coin, if I'm not mistaken.
It was like a narrative device just for us as viewers to gotcha, very nice.
Yeah, curse. That's kind of like a curse, right?
No.
Because from the beginning of this film, right, you see this coin, and the security guard is telling this little boy, hey, don't steal from, the wishing barrel or whatever. That's bad luck. Boom, right there. He took that coin anyway. And from then on, you see this little kid, everything he's doing with this coin is causing bad stuff to happen. That coin went down the little air hole conditioning thing towards the building. It stopped the fan. It clogged it up. Boom. From then on, this coin just kept appearing throughout the whole film. So, but I'm not going to get into details yet because this is the non-spoiler. But, ladies and gentlemen, No Fear fans, I got to say, I rate this film, for a horror, what do I rate this film? For a horror, kind of thriller type of film, I would rate this film a good, probably 9.5 out of 10. It wasn't really that bad. I have really no complaints about this film. The kills is very great. Yeah, a lot of the kills are very interesting.
The comedy was great.
Comedy
They led more with that than they did in like the previous films, where they led more on like suspense and thriller. I felt that the more comedic approach for this was great. Obviously, good with the times, but
yeah,
it was well executed.
There is a comedy part I want to mention though, towards the the spoiler review part, but you probably know what I'm talking about. So, but like you said, the comedy part was pretty good. The kills are pretty good. The scary, of hard effects, of feeling the pain and what people go through, and part of these kills was very, very, like, you felt it. The sound effects and when the piercing was getting pulled by that chain, the sound effects of hearing that was, ooh, you just felt it. So I rate this film, a 9.5 out of 10. It was pretty good. Really not too many complaints. So you got anything?
I rated 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I'll save the explanation for later, but comedy, really entertaining. You don't want to look at your phone, so that's good. Great acting. Appreciate the dialogue. The deduction of the one point, my complaint is that it's Final Destination. We're not here for the plot. We're really just here for the kills and the execution of it, and death itself and its creativity. But I am being a little nitpicky because there's a lot of points where I was just groaning and shaking my head at some of the character choices and ways that they wanted to advance the plot to fill in. It filled in nicely though. It's just there's points where it's like, this is stupid or like completely idiotic and no sense whatsoever. But you don't want to think like that when you watch it. Just enjoy it. It'll be a 10 out of 10 for you guys. Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, this film is a lot different than the other ones. You're not really involved with strangers and all that other stuff. This is just strictly in the family, you know, the family tree. So, yeah. But yeah, that's the non-spoiler review, No Fear fans. So if you are a new viewer, please hit that like, comment, subscribe, share. Let's get into the spoiler review. Okay, you want to start?
I just wanted to bring up your last point before we got done with the non-spoiler, where you were mentioning the penny. Just so you know, it's like, it's supposed to be like a metaphor or a symbol for like when death visits you, because people place pennies on gravestones like in the military or people who are just superstitious, so it shows that they're visiting their loved ones that are in heaven, visiting death, or if you know you pick up a penny, it's on its head, you're being visited by someone from heaven or something. It's a lot of superstitions tied to death, but in the sense of this film, what I'm gonna assume is it's like death is coming through, and that's why we kept seeing it throughout the intertwining of the movie.
That's one way. Looking at it, which would be valid. Okay, what else you got?
I really liked how they worked through all the descendants and stuff, and the last film, the fifth one before this one, the sixth one, they both worked in with each other, and they worked in with the first one. It was very nice and satisfactory. I appreciated that a lot. I mean, it was obvious, but it was really nice. My favorite kill would have to be the...
Favorite kill, okay.
I'm a lot of order, but my favorite kill would have to be that machine in the hospital. I forgot what it's called. It's not an X-ray. It's like that great. I don't even know. It's an X-ray, CT scan, something.
It's like a
It's a scan machine. That was crazy.
I didn't know those things were that powerful.
Oh, they are. Yeah. That was crazy. And he had piercings on and everything.
Piercings every damn where.
Yeah, and like he was trying to, you know, I'll let you do your review in order, but. Yeah, that was crazy. He wasn't even supposed to die, and he still died because he... Ugh. That was funny. Dead. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was the most brutal death, in my opinion.
Okay.
What I didn't like was, like... Yeah, I'm out of order. I'll just jump in when you do this.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, No Fear fans, if you haven't already, please hit that like, comment, subscribe, share. So, non-spoiler. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay, yo, saying so you start off, you know, you're at the tower collapse. You know, it was kind of sad how, you know, Iris, you know, she was about to be proposed to and everything like that, and you know how everything just went down. She saw what happened right then and there, and you know he kind of thought that, you know, she didn't want to get married to him. How she said no, you know, everyone's gonna die, and you really kind of feel sad for him and her at that moment, because it's like, man, this is a beautiful moment. How they fought to get in here. They got denied to get into this place by an annoying ass butler guy. This place is just being built. It just got built, and you know everything they did to get in there and how they got in there and stuff like that. And for them to finally have a moment to enjoy themselves, it damn near got ruined. So you kind of felt really bad and sorry for them. The one thing I kind of hate, but you know, one thing I kind of hate and liked about this is like they called this the grandmother crazy, Iris. You know, throughout this whole film, the family kept saying, "Stay away from her, stay away from her. She's crazy." You know, my whole life she raised me, you know, to pretty much to be too damn careful because she had a bad experience and she's putting that all on our lives, you know, them not realizing, you know, which is kind of understandable in real life. You know, this person's crazy. They had a bad experience. Now they're trying to pretty much put that shit on all of us and she's losing it. But it's kind of just unfortunate how, you know, I loved how on edge this lady was on. She was on, like, man, she was ready for anything. And she was actually talking to death. Literally talking to it. When that mirror flipped over, she got up and handed her that chair. And she did that scary look to the corner. And she told death, you know, no, you know, I'm not that fucking stupid type, you know, type shit. Excuse my language, but she pretty much said it like that, like, yo, I'm not that stupid. You're not finna get me like that. And the way she was engaging with it was just very, man, I was really tuned in to her character. And I loved everything about her character. She was very scary looking. You know, her hair is wild, but obviously because she has to live the rest of her life, you know, pretty much looking over her shoulder. So,
and the fucking sorry, and her granddaughter wasn't even listening to her, so she, stupid enough, she was getting the premonitions like, if I step out, I will die. XYZ.
She was scared,
and so she grabbed the book and she was like, "Yo, listen to me," and she's like, "I'm gonna die if I step out," but she's still not listening, so I'm gonna show her if I kill myself. And also,
yeah,
she died anyways because she had cancer.
Also, yeah,
she was taking into account, you know, she's gonna die either way, so
that's another thing.
Have it impact her enough,
right? Yeah.
Have her take the book and be able to go. She still wasn't really believing it at the time, but I was.
The thing is though too is that, like I said, I can see both sides of the granddaughter and the grandma, because the grandma, she didn't have a lot of time and she did it in a way where, you know, she felt like it was right. But then I put myself in the shoes of the granddaughter. She was very scared. If you see that lady's face, she put all that on her real quick. She kind of came there to have a kind of nice conversation and maybe get some real answers, and she came into something she did not expect.
Through the mouth, in the back of her head.
Yeah.
Like a weather vein. That was crazy.
And the way she kind of delivered it to her, it was very scary because throughout the grandma Iris's whole life, you know, no one's believed her. And here comes somebody coming to your place having these questions and dreaming of something that you actually went through. And it's kind of sad, man. It was really kind of sad, but it was a great scene. I loved that whole scene. I loved everything about it. But it was just kind of sad how the grandma really wanted someone to just believe her. But she delivered it really fast. She had no choice and delivered it really, you know, scary. And she pretty much just scared her off.
You notice how crazy her entire house was?
But yeah, the whole house was scary looking. It's like, wait, you can die in a million damn ways in this house.
Just breathing, bro. Like.
So, but we end up learning towards the end why her house was like that.
No, the wind chimes were cool. She could have kept just the wind chimes. No shit, yeah, I agree. That was cool. Everything else was not logical whatsoever.
She had a lot of stuff.
Full of death.
Everything in the house though was hanging to material.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything outside. So when
that's what I'm saying.
But she wanted her house. She wanted wait, time out. She wanted her house to be how she wanted it to be, but she had a lot. You notice when the wind blows, that's when it's coming.
Wind chimes.
Yes. So that alerts her.
Yes, that's not what I'm talking about. I said it was illogical for her to have all those spears and sticks and weaponry facing outwards from her house on the exterior.
Well, that's to keep people from coming.
That's
That's
so ridiculous.
She's been through a lot. She's on edge, and she's a woman who nobody believes her. And I'm pretty sure she's had multiple things try to come into counter in her life and interrupt her. And what her life, her lifestyle is just different from everyone else's. So for No Fear fans, like I said, this is the spoiler review. So I feel like, yes, when you first see it, you're like, wait, what the hell? Why is her house like that?
She could have just kept the fence and then please no trespassing. That's it.
Well,
That's how I would have done it.
her house was decorated how she wanted it. So, I mean, I don't really agree with it either. So, but I'm just saying, she's a woman. I think she's the only person throughout Final Destination history who can have a house like that and be on. She's the most alerted person throughout Final Destination history. This Iris character. There was nobody throughout Final Destination, I ain't gonna lie, history, who really knew everything damn near what is about to happen.
The Todd character.
Todd character was...
Yeah, he knew everything.
He knew everything too.
Everything. Since like the 70s. Like
But he accepted his fate,
Yeah,
She did too.
Everybody throughout the whole series was coming to him about it. He was like, yo, YOLO, you're all gonna die. That's why he was like, smooth.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to him. But anyways, to move on from this Iris character, I love their character very much. Probably one of my favorite characters throughout this whole film. She moved me a lot. It was just very unfortunate how, man, she just wanted somebody to believe her. And she was doing everything right, trying to get the granddaughter to believe her. She let it know, hey, you just seen that? It was just very unfortunate. So, but okay, moving on. So she gets back home. She got this book that the grandmother gave to her, Iris gave to her. Of course, when she gets back home, everybody, they have the funeral. Everybody's thinking she's crazy. All this other stuff, man. The Debbie mother comes along, and they her and the little brother have a little fight about that. The little brother is trying to give her a chance to be in her life again, and she's like, no, she left us, etc., etc. Then he's trying to go down, pause. He's trying to bring her down with she's a college student, everybody. So the little brother's trying to compare her not being around and being in college to the mom just walking out on them when they was kids, which was very kind of dumb to me. I was like, what? Wait, what? That's stupid. But I thought that part was kind of dumb. Then, fast forward another part. They had, what happened after that? The scene where, they're fast forward, they're at their little family little gathering. As you see in the trailer, it's like a little, well, white people don't call it cookouts. I'll just call it I don't know. They had a little family get together little, but little, I'm just say cookout anyways. And, that was very kind of intense and awkward because the Debbie mom was there and everything like that. She's just over there quiet. I thought she kind of knew something deep down in her head. She knew there was some truth.
Her character sucked ass.
Didn't really like her character either, no. But one of my other favorite characters was Eric, played by Richard Harmon. He was very funny. That's to do with all the piercings. He was an asshole, but he was very funny. He kept playing with death. That's the guy, man, when the tattoo shop, when the dad finally dies, and she's trying to warn the main character, she's trying to warn them, like, yo, okay, I think death is really after us. Nobody's believing her. The dad dies. No one's still believing her. They're like, get out of our house with that nonsense. Then Eric, okay, his time is his time now. Death gets him, but you think he dies in that tattoo shop when it blows up. I ain't gonna lie, he should have died. That was definitely, but
And why didn't he mention the fact that, like, yo, like, I had all this crazy stuff going on?
because he didn't believe it.
Because he didn't believe it.
He didn't believe it.
Like, oh, it just burned down. The place just burned
Or deep down he did, but he just didn't want anyone to know he was scared. That's the thing people do. And he kept trying to play with death. He kept walking in the street and shit, saying, it's not gonna. He was just an a-hole guy, but he was very funny. The hospital, like I said, the whole hospital sequence scene was very funny. You know, there was a point where him and the little brother, it goes to the little brother because they end up finding out he really wasn't the son of someone or something like that. I forgot exactly who it was.
Okay, when they got back and stuff, and she realized, like, oh, you're not dead, whatever, that's crazy, what's wrong? Then they got back home, and, oh, no, they were walking home, and he was playing with death, like you said, and then the sister came out, right?
Yeah.
The sister of the dead dad. The daughter of the dead dad. Anyways, she came out, and she was going to go for a run, and then the girl, the main character, she predicted everything that was going to happen, the wind blowing, the tree cutting
Of the ball and stuff like that.
And then the kids playing soccer ball. And so she felt that exactly happened, and they thought it was going to happen to the older brother, Eric. And
Yeah.
it didn't. But it happened to her, and we're like, what the fuck? And then she got crushed. Her head got crushed, her cheekbones. That was crazy.
Everything she said that happened.
Like the garbage when it was compressing. And so when they got home and they were talking with the mom was like, I have something to tell you.
They was very confused, yeah.
I slept with somebody else.
Oh, yeah, she had an affair.
She had an affair, and the dad, because they couldn't, she said they couldn't try, but he never knew that he wasn't the dad, I think, if I remember correctly. And apparently it was like some guy that he was playing catch with as a kid. So that's why death skipped him at the moment and went to the daughter, and then they all agreed to go into the RV with the mom, and everyone went to the hospital. Yeah,
yeah. So to fast forward, get to the hospital scene. You know, they are going to Tony Todd, played by William Bloodworth in the film, obviously. So when they get to him, you know, man, he's letting them know, he's giving them the rundown on everything, how to do this, what ultimatums they have, what different what different options they have. One of the options was kill someone else and you get their lifespan or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or accept your fate and die. That was like one of your only two options. And it's just like, wow. And it was just like, no, there's got to be another way. There's got to be something else we can do. And he was just being honest with them. I'm sorry, no, pretty much. And there was
die. He did say that one lady, she killed herself and she was able to back to life. He said that's the only time, but you're probably just gonna be dead.
Yeah.
Or death is gonna.
You're gambling. That's a big gamble right there.
And death wouldn't let you die.
And yeah, Tony Todd, man, like I said last time, saying this, there was a moment in this film where he says, life is precious, take care, appreciate it, And damn, man, that was kind of sad because, him dying right after this film, that was a touching part right there. Everything he's done, in horror and stuff like that. So RIP to him once more. So he gives them the rundown and everything like that, man. He lets them know these are the options y'all have. Do this, or or just accept your fate. Hey, you're gonna die. And they pretty much, the brother Eric and the other little brother, they go and what's the other little brother name? Was it Jones?
The little brother.
I think it was Jones.
Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
You're saying the other one? Owen. The white one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Owen.
Yeah, Owen. So he's allergic to peanut butter. If he eats peanut butter, like, he dies. Like, he just dies. Literally. So, man, they try to come up with multiple different ways of getting him to, all right, who we gonna kill? If we kill someone else, we don't know their lifespan. there's a moment they look at babies. There's babies being born, and they're like, "Nah, we won't do that." And then they're like, "Wait, will we? Will we do that?" Like, no, we're not killing them. That part was hella funny because it's like, there's no way they will put that in the movie. No way. There's no way in hell they will put that in the movie. That might happen in real life, but there's no way they will put that in the movie. If this was real in real life, somebody probably would do that, but no way they would put that in a movie. But that part was crazy. That was some dark humor right there. But yeah, they get to that room, that thing goes off, and Dev pretty much knows that what they're trying to do. At that point, Dev is like, okay, they're trying to kill themselves. They're trying to find a way to skip it and, you know, have me go to the next person. It's like, nope, not happening. And next thing you know, man, they end up killing each other. He ends up eating peanut butter, and it just goes completely wrong. But that's just some stuff that was very, very funny and interesting to me about this film. Some of those scenes, like I said, the plot is very different. I appreciated how the plot was very different in this film. Yeah, except like
right here when they died, I was like, "Oh great, this is just a repeat of Final Destination 2." Yeah, it wasn't even a homage; it was just a copy paste.
But yeah, no one survives in this film. Also, yeah, they all die. So I kind of like those endings. It's kind of realistic.
If they're more
low-key, they could just keep going with this.
Yeah.
They could just keep, you know, a different family had this experience and a crazy different experience. You know, they can just keep going levels and levels with this. Low key, I hope they keep going with this. I hope they do. Why not?
And it doesn't even have to be based off. I agree. It doesn't have to be based off like the 1968 experience or something that happened in the past and it creates a bloodline. It can be present day. It could be happening all across the globe. They have so many avenues that they can go with this. Because if you just, the whole premise is if you cheat death, it's going to come after you regardless in like crazy ways, you know? So like, you could do that with like any timeline, any premise, any way, any character. It still would.
Yeah.
They try and wrap it up because it feels so heavy of a burden for certain directors. Like, I feel like these two directors, they did a good job, but when it came to the end of this, it felt like, was it too heavy for them? Because why would you just copy paste Final Destination 2 with that character, how they resuscitated and all that stuff, and then they eventually died in the end? It felt lazy. I think they couldn't handle pressure from potential audience members.
Wow.
So I feel like future directors, I don't know, need to have better creative direction in my opinion. Overall, it was good.
Well, I kind of just disagree, but I mean that's fine. I thought. No, I think they did a good job with having a past tense and a present at the same time in a film. You know, having this started in the 60s. Like, dude, y'all don't know this is something that started in the 60s and has been following this family until present day. Like, you know, this is not something that's over. Everyone thinking the grandma's crazy. I thought they did a great job with that. The plot, in my opinion, was damn near one of the best. Is probably the best one throughout every single Final Destination film.
It was amazing. The ending was lacking.
The ending I thought was pretty good too. I thought it ended pretty good. It ended with that coin curse or whatever. However you want to look at it. There's multiple ways you can look at the coin situation. There's multiple ways you can look at it. That's the great thing, you know, about certain films, and you know, you can have your own perspective of it. But I think the coin was just a curse. Every time this coin pops up, boom, here we come. But it was taped inside that damn book. Ended up getting away. That old white lady ended up getting it. She ended up spinning it at that little stand thing. And she dropped it. What happens? That train ended up coming. Kill, you know. I loved it. I ain't gonna lie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. You know, it's a Final Destination film.
So good.
But like I said, I rate this film, you know, a 9.5 out of 10. Some people might say that's very high, but I'm talking about for Final Destination. Yeah, it was pretty damn good. My favorite kill, that annoying sister. Hers was very satisfying because she was annoying. The scariest kill was Iris. That kill was scary. The intensity in that whole scene, and man, that skill was very scary. So critically, that one, just the one I enjoyed, yeah, was that sister, because that was kind of funny, because how she called it out, and they thought it was gonna happen to Eric, and it ended up happening to ended up skipping it and going to the sister, because the mom had an affair and all that stuff. So yeah, that was pretty. And she was talking shit throughout the whole damn movie.
For real.
So
That MRI CT scan thing. My favorite.
that was a good one too, though. That was a good one too. That was intense.
My favorite was the beginning sequence that didn't happen, but it was just for premonition, so I guess it doesn't count. But that was so cool.
That beginning was fire.
That was so
Scary.
that was cool.
But yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that probably wraps it up, for my spoiler review. Just touching base on little things that I noticed and that I liked about this film. So if you haven't already, please, if you're a new viewer, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share. What's something like that's like, real quick, I'm gonna ask you this. Okay, all the past tense, Final Destinations touch base on, you got roller coasters, you got highways, you got bridges, you got skyscrapers, and this one kind of it started from. What's something you would like them to touch base on when it comes to the main kill that started it? You got race car tracks in one of them.
Oh man.
Something people love doing, but you could turn it into a
Just anything, yeah.
crazy experience.
Maybe I don't know. A big apartment complex. I've always had my icks about a big apartment complex just in one building. Tons of units, tons of people, animals, just maintenance can't keep up with everything. That's every place, no matter how much you spend, unless you're super rich. This is hyperbole, obviously.
So just a big, kind of apartment complex, and something a tragic thing happens, and the whole thing just falls to shit.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
There's a lot of things that can happen.
Look, it's all about delivery. That's a good one, and it's just all about delivery.
And delivery. The punch.
Anything could be good, man. I ain't gonna lie. Anything could be good in film. It's all about delivery.
What do you think?
I actually never thought about it. I was thinking of something like that. Because they kind of already got one, but they, like I said, at the race car track, I was thinking of something crazy, because that's kind of what you can consider that a sport. I was gonna say something like a sport, a big event, like a finals game or some shit, or a Super Bowl stadium.
Yeah.
You know,
The vibes of Buffalo Experiment kind of pressured my mind to think of a big
or a concert. People love concerts. Something like that. Yeah, I'll say a concert. That would be probably a fire one.
DMV.
Mm-hmm.
The vibes are there. They're already there.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot you can do. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the non-spoiler spoiler review of Final Destination Bloodlines. I really enjoyed this film. It had scary moments. It was funny. The plot, I ain't gonna lie, this is probably the best plot in my opinion out of all of the other Final Destinations. Yes, the first, I think this, ooh, the first one was fire, man. The first one was pretty fire. But I think this one beats the first one. It may be a little too soon for me to say that. I might end up having regrets saying that, but I think this one probably beats that one. So, but anyways, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share. Love y'all. See y'all next time. Stay fearless. Love y'all.